Okay, so I'm here to talk about my favorite extensions for Visual Studio Code. So Visual Studio Code is a IDE, which is an integrated development environment, which basically it allows you to, that's the place where you'll be doing a lot of your coding, whether that be doing things in Unity or C# or web development. There's a lot of different things you can code with using Visual Studio Code, but I want to go over my favorite extensions. These extensions really aren't in particular order, but starting off with code spell checker. So I am not the greatest speller. Sometimes I'll spell things wrong in one spot, and then later on in the code I'll spell it right again and then spell it wrong. So this just kind of removes all of that in general. Code spell checker, having this in Visual Studio Code is a godsend, especially when I'm working with other people. It definitely helps and it saves my butt time and time again. Next, we have live server, which basically is an automatic refresh. So if you're doing things in web design, HTML, CSS, JavaScript, what's nice is live server will have a live server that'll run on your local machine. So having that will allow you to, it should automatically refresh after you save your codes, which is fantastic. So you can have one screen that'll have your code, another screen can have the live server refreshed, the server refreshed, and it's just nice not having to refresh and stop and start. Having live server there is definitely helpful. And next we have auto rename tag. It will rename in your HTML files. It should rename all of your tags. So let's say you start with a div and then maybe you want to change it to a header. What's nice is when you start to retype that first tag, it'll automatically change the following tag that's next. Again, it's nice because when you're working on your own project and you're short on time, or just not having to worry about that does save a few moments, and those add up after time. Next we have Rewrap. It'll rewrap a lot of your comments. So let's say you have a comment that's super long on one long line. When you use this extension, what it'll do, as it says, it'll rewrap. So it'll make one long comment into multiple lines. I enjoy this. I like to comment my code. People go back and forth between should you not, should comment your code. Personally, my rule is if it's my own personal code, I'm probably gonna comment just so it makes sense to me and later on. I also like to create readmes, and so personally I like to do that for my own, but if the team I'm on doesn't do comments or doesn't do it that way, I typically will go based off that. But I do like comments because it helps me remember things later on, because when I come back months later, this will be nice. So having this, I can just type and just keep going, have my thoughts go in one, and then when I hit save, it'll automatically rewrap that into multiple lines. That's just nice for me. I enjoy it. Next, we have Markdown Preview Enhance. So as I said before, I like to write a lot of README files, and README files are just written in Markdown. Markdown is very simple. It's kind of very like HTML. Once you learn it, it's very easy to keep it. So what I like to do is I like to write a lot of README files for a lot of the projects I'm working on, whether it be personal, whether I'm working with a team. I feel like, again, adding a README is so simple, it's so easy. And what's nice is when you add that README, especially let's say if you're using GitHub, it creates this nice little artwork. So when you come to that page, you remember what you did. It's very easy to pick up and start again. And I feel like, again, it takes not really long, less than an hour to learn Markdown, I feel like. And then having this extension, it allows you to preview that in your Visual Studio IDE right here. And so having that is great. Adding README to your project, you really should be adding it. It really makes it a lot simpler, a lot easier. And I say the last one is the HTML and CSS support. This is just adding a few IntelliSense to HTML and CSS. So whenever you're typing and there's auto completion, adding that capability, I just think it's great. I don't have to remember all of that. Using these tags or using these support allows me to, not have to think as much, and it's a lot quicker. So if you're just starting out to code, I would say avoid it. If you're doing a tutorial on your own, type it out, do it by hand. Then as you start to work on freelance projects, or if you start to do work on your own, then I would use these, a lot of these extensions to make coding a lot faster. You waste less time. You can start working and more collaborating with more people. So I feel like these extensions have helped me a lot. And some honorable mentions I would say would be the Python extension. That's also by Microsoft, and they also have a C# extension. So again, that's also adding a few IntelliSense to Python and C#. Again, it's nice. It allows you not to remember a lot of things. Can import a lot of libraries. So it's great. And yeah, that's it. That's all I have for this video. Let me know in the comment section below if you guys use any of these extensions in your Visual Studio Code editor, or if you use any other ones. That's it. That's all I have. Thank you for watching the video. Like, comment, and subscribe. Call me Jobson, and I'll catch you in the next one.